What's up guys, it's Amelia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my winter makeup routine. This is something I don't do every day, but I definitely do when I'm going out and about or if I'm going to hang out with friends or something like that. So yeah, if you guys want to see what I do for my winter makeup, then just keep watching. I feel like this is actually like the first year where my routines really changed for the winter. Normally it kind of stays the same throughout the year, but this year for some reason I've like really changed it up. Okay, so first thing I use is some primer, my Origins Original Skin Primer, obviously. It's my favorite. Oh my gosh, this is so cold. So I make sure to really rub this into the skin. And by the way, I always start with a moisturized face and sunscreen. Do not forget to put sunscreen on in the winter. It took me a long time to start using sunscreen, but after I've started using sunscreen, like I can't imagine not using sunscreen. Like I genuinely feel like it's made a slight difference in my skin. Okay, next I go into foundation. So I'm using Physicians Formula, the Healthy Skin Foundation, my ultimate favorite one. And lately I've been applying this to my skin differently. So I just put some on the back of my hand right here. And then I've been taking a foundation brush and kind of just tapping it into my skin so we can get like an even layer on the brush and then going onto my face. And I feel like this really makes a difference because it just applies the like most even layer possible to my face. I feel like it might take a little longer, but it's like 1020% worth it. And never forget to go onto the neck, especially in the winter time, because sometimes you get a little pale in the winter. At least I do. I get way crazy pale. Okay, so once I have a pretty good base on, I will go back into my foundation, put a little bit more on the back of my hand, and then I will go in with a beauty sponge and just dab it again to get an even layer on the sponge. And then I will gently tap it onto my face. And this is so I can just make sure I have enough coverage that I want and kind of just smooth out my foundation. This just really helps blend everything out in case I forgot something, which I usually do. So after I do that, I go in with some Tarte Shape Tape and I just put a little dot on my eye and then a little bit underneath. Then I just take another beauty sponge and blend it out. I take whatever is left on my beauty sponge and just kind of go down my nose, a little bit on my forehead, and then a little bit on my chin, just to add a little bit of light right there. Then I immediately set my eyes because I don't want my concealer to crease, so I go in with some NYX HD Finishing Powder in the shade Banana. My favorite, obviously. It just brightens the area so much and sets it so beautifully. Like, I can't imagine my life without this powder. Then I like to go down the nose, a little bit on the forehead, a little bit on the chin as well. Then I go into some of my Too Faced Peach Perfect powder, and I take my Juno sponge and I use this to set the rest of the face. Then I go into my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It Bronzer, and this is to add some color, some life back into my skin. I like to go a little bit under my cheekbones, definitely on the temple, and then always on the forehead as well, with all the baby hairs. I can't forget the jawline as well, and then I also like to go down the neck a little bit. I just slowly build it up too. I don't like, you know, take a bunch and, you know, blend it. I like to slowly build it up. Then I'll go in with like a tinier brush, take a little bit of the bronzer, and then just go down my nose. Very, very gently. And go under my nose. And then what I like to do is I like to go into this bronzer with a eyeshadow brush and then gently kind of build it into my crease. I tend to not use too much eyeshadow. I don't always go crazy with the eyes like I do in my videos because honestly that takes a lot of time. And a majority of the time I don't have a lot of time. I'm one of those people who just always runs late. Like no matter how early I start getting ready, I feel like I'm always late. What I've also been doing to the eyes is I've been loving this Smashbox Ablaze palette. Oh my goodness, I tried it out for the very first time in my last video and I've been obsessed. What I found I love doing so far is taking just a flatter shader brush, take a little bit of this throwback color in the palette, just a very little bit, tap off any excess, and very lightly kind of slowly build it onto the outer half of the eye. I've just been loving this slight reddish orange look it's been giving. Then I slowly bring it into the crease a little bit, and then I like to go into the shade Relaxed up here and just blend everything together really nicely. Then I also been loving just very, very gently dipping into the dark horse shade and applying it to the very, very outer corner. Very softly, just to give a little bit of definition. Then I dip my brush back into the bronzer and then just make sure that we didn't lose that shade in the crease. Then I like to go in with the mini brush, dip it into the bronzer, and line my lower lash line. Then I like to go into my highlighter. This is the Fenty Beauty Highlighter Duo in the shade Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. I love it taking the shade Lightning Dust over here and just kind of putting it on my entire lid. And then I go in with like a really nice pointed brush, dip into the shade Fire Crystal, and then add this to the inner corner of my eye and just kind of blend it outward towards the rest of the eye. And then I always dip into Lightning Crystal again and kind of just add a little bit to the middle of the eye as well, just to get that extra sparkle in there since it is winter time. And then for eyeliner, I take the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in the shade Demolition, and I just line the outer half of my eye. So kind of start at the middle of my eyelid and then go outwards. Then I go on the lower third of the lower lash line. And then I will go in with my brows. I'm using the ColourPop Precision Brow Pencil. I've fallen in love with this. Oh my gosh, my brows are so out of whack today. Like just the hairs are like going in all different directions today. Then I just quickly finish up my eyes by curling the lashes and then going in with my Brooklyn & Bailey Lash Next Door mascara. And next is blush. I've been loving this Burt's Bees blush lately in the shade Bare Peach. It's so good. So I take a little bit of that. I kind of slowly build this shade up. Then put a little excess on my nose. Then I go on to highlight. I use the same one I used on my eyes. So I go into the shade Lightning Dust first and kind of gently set this as like a base. And then I go into the shade Fire Crystal. Oh my gosh, I love this highlight. Then I do the same thing for the nose and then Cupid's bow. A little bit down the nose as well. Okay, then for lips, I just took a makeup wipe and wiped off all the excess foundation that was on there. And then because it's winter, I've just been loving this Bite Beauty Agave Lip Mask in the shade Smashed. I find it's a really just beautiful tinted color and it moisturizes your lips, so it's like a win-win situation. Then I go in with a little bit of brow gel. I've actually been really liking this ColourPop brow gel. It's really, really nice. Okay, now for this next step, I like to go a little crazy with it. It just makes my makeup melt into my skin so beautifully, so I like to take the Smashbox primer water, plus it helps hydrate the skin. Like this primer water is good, and so I go a little ham on this. And while that's drying, I kind of just tap on any kind of peach fuzz I have, or if it's like a little too much of that product in one area. I like to do this because it dries it quicker. And then once I have that layer down, I go in with my Urban Decay setting spray and kind of do the same exact thing. Now sometimes this kind of leaves my skin a little dewy, which is great. You can totally leave it like this, but I personally prefer a slightly more matte finish. So I just go in with my NYX HD finishing powder and go over any area that tends to get oily throughout the day. Like my entire face gets oily throughout the day, but I really just want to make sure the under eyes are nice and set. But I really like to just go over my T-zone for this. And that is it. This is the entire completed look, my winter routine look. I don't know, I just love how simple it is, but yet like there's like a really just soft beauty to it. All right, you guys, so this is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. It really does help support my channel. And question of the day, what is your absolute favorite winter activity? I think for me, my favorite thing to do is to go snow tubing. That is so fun. Also, if you are new to my channel, hi, Emelia. If you guys want to see more beauty tutorials and reviews and just fun stuff like this, please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button that is right down below. And if you're already subscribed to my channel and don't want to miss a single video that I post, be sure to hit the little notification bell that is right next to the subscribe button. This way you guys will get notified as soon as I upload a video. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.